Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. I'm so Ray. My videos are about love, infinity, creation, energy, because we're infinite love, infinite energy, infinite creation. This is who we are with the human race. We're an incredible species. This video is a video about an infinite virtuous cycle. And this infinite virtuous cycle is that of polarity charge and plane charge. Okay, so it's two charges, right? So it's energy, but one leads to the other one. So and it's important because in my previous video, you see, all virtuous cycles are important in nature because they're virtuous, meaning they're good, they're positive. They lead to a harmonious state. And by definition, if there is a virtuous cycle, this virtuous cycle is infinite in nature. Because everything is infinite, really. And when it comes to virtuous cycles, particularly important. Because this cycle that I'm talking about is polarity charge and plane charge. You see, so they are the same in a way. So one reinforces the other because it's energy, it's electricity, it's polarity, it's charge, right? It's energy. And we're talking about creation here. So we're talking about pure energy, light spherical energy like the sun, like us, our electromagnetic field. You see? So it's the energy of creation. So my previous video was prime mover. And prime mover it was essentially the creator, right? What we know as the creator that created us and created everything. And that is the central sun of the universe, our universe, the cosmos. And that's just at that scale of creation because that itself is infinite in nature, is infinity. And the electromagnetic field and the central sun of the electromagnetic field of the universe, they themselves are part of infinity, which means there's an infinite number of universes. And the energy that created the electromagnetic field of this universe, that spherical vacuum threshold, and the energy that gets released at the vortex, the singularity, our central sun, there's just one of an infinite number of them. But the concept, the principle remains the same. The prime mover is the same at any scale. And I have provided the equation for that. So if you gotta understand is that if we understand who the creator is or what the creator is, to be more specific, then if we understand it and then there is applied engineering to it, so what does that make us then? This is an important question to ask ourselves, right? If we understand the concept and we have the mathematical proof that is applicable to all states, all planes of reality, what does that make us then? I want you to reflect and think about this idea. This is not a metaphorical question, right? This is an obvious answer. That means that we are the creators, okay? The fact that our consciousness and self-awareness has the ability to understand what the creator is and replicate it and do the same as makes us the creator ourselves. So we are the creator. We are the image of the creator. We are the same but at the biological scale, capable of doing creation ourselves because we understand the primordial principles of creation and what the creator is, the prime mover, infinity. So we understand these. So this is who we are as a species. You see, we are the species that is capable of understanding what the creator is and being the creator ourselves because of our DNA, because of our nature, us being spherical energy. So this is important. Why? Because this video is precisely that. Is building upon this notion of the prime mover. Now that we understand what the prime mover is, which is a very simple mathematical equation that has obvious real life application if you understand basic design and blueprints and circuitry. You understand that you can apply it to any field of knowledge. Why? Because it's a prime mover, and it is applicable to everything, because everything that is real has a polarity. It has energy in it, and energy, if it exists in our reality, which is a three-dimensional reality, that's why in the prime mover there's the obvious difference between the 2D and a 3D existence. The 2D is this figment of our imaginations. It's abstract. And the reality is that we are three-dimensional. We exist. We're conscious and self-awareness. And polarity has a charge, right? Obviously. And everything that exists is real, has energy in it. So everything that is real has a polarity and a charge and energy, and is spherical in nature, because polarity is spherical in nature, because electromagnetism is spherical in nature. Just look at the sun. And we're not talking about any sun. We're talking about the first sun, the central sun, the sun of suns, sun. This is the epicenter of the cosmos. We are the center of the universe. Our planet is located at the epicenter of the universe. And the universe is spherical. It has an electromagnetic field that comes from the central sun of the universe, which is its singularity. You see, and the prime mover is what creates that singularity, and I have provided you with the equation. So what does that make us? Well, it makes us the creator ourselves. Because now we have the ability with our thoughts and consciousness to create singularities at any scales. Because this is who we are, this is the species that we are. We're infinite eternal creators, we're co-creators of infinite eternities. Okay, so having established this very basic notion, now we can talk about this video, this virtuous cycle, this infinite virtuous cycle of polarity charge and plane charge. Why is this super important? It's because if you understand mathematics, it's all based on planes, the Cartesian plane, right? And when I provided the first proof, the proof of zero, the polarity of zero, the energy charge of zero, I did it using a Cartesian plane, a mathematical plane of x and y axes. Why? Because the sphere has polarity, and you need to represent it in the polarity of x and y axis, right? And the charges, the positive and the negative charge of each number, but in this case is a zero, and the polarity of zero. So I have provided that, and that was a plane, right? Understand that, mathematically speaking, that was a plane, x and y axes. But there's a charge in it, right? That's called a plane charge. So it's the charge of the plane in which you exist. So then I provided the second proof, which is a prime mover. But then you understand that there is this two-dimensional polarity charge reality plane, right? Which is essentially abstract. It's not real per se. It only exists in our imagination, in our consciousness, because we created it, right? To describe mathematics is just a description. It's an expression. Numbers that express a function. And this function is existence, is us, what's real, which is 3D polarity charge, reality plane. So, and the prime mover is that who we are, because we ourselves are the prime movers, because we have our singularity, and our singularity is the human heart. So you see, and then it's at any scale, anything, the cell has its own singularity, its own energy charge. And like that, you can, scale it down to n infinitely large, infinitely small. And everything has energy, and everything is a scale. and everything is that is a plane charge, right? It's a plane of existence. It's a plane of reality at that scale, at that dimension. But it all comes together into one, and that is us, the biological scale, the three-dimensional scale of creation, the polarity charge of this reality plane. And I have provided that equation that makes it so. So now we can talk about this concept, which is the polarity charge and the plane charge coming together in this virtuous cycle to infinity, right? Us, the three-dimensional reality that we are. So how does that work? Well, think in terms of polarity. So what's a polarity charge? Well, polarity charge is the charge of the polarity, meaning the sphere. So what is that? Well, it tends to be in terms of plane is axes, but in terms of real life, so you just think about the planet Earth, for example. I have provided this proof as well in the video creator. So if you understand that notion, it's a precursor to zero, to understand zero for what it is, so I can provide the equation that proves that infinity equals zero. So what is the meaning of this? Well, it's very simple. So polarity needs a charge, right? Because of and the sphere is a perfect conduit for electromagnetism and an electromagnetic field because of its properties, its nature, because of electrogravitics, because of telemetry, because the sphere is limitless, is endless, is eternal, is boundless, is forever, is infinite, right? It's the only figure, it's the only form, geometric form, that in the three-dimensional reality that we are, that meets all the criteria of infinity. So it has no vertices, it has no edges, it has no corners, it has no angles. All the angles, all the vertices, all the corners, all the edges, all the points are contained within it. Where? Well, they meet at one point, the singularity of it. And the radius of it, pi, is the tension on the surface of the sphere that leads to the electromagnetism, the prime mover. And I have provided the equations for this. But then what's polarity then? Well, polarity is charge. So you need that, right? You need the polarity that generates the electromagnetism. And in the sphere, we call it as positive and negative charges, right? And they interact, and then energy, because of that polarity, because of the charges, positive attract, right? Magnetism, right? We understand magnets. And that attraction is gravity. And what gravity? Well, the tension on the surface of the sphere, right? This electromagnetic field, that's spherical, because of the polarity of it. So that attraction generates this motion. But that motion needs to be released, and that is released at the epicenter through a vortex, which is movement, is energy, it moves. So that torsion, that moves, is toroidal in nature. And that movement gets released through a wormhole in the vortex, and that's the singularity, which is a singular point where all points meet. And then that's where all the energy is released within the space structure of the sphere, and then is field. So the universe is an electromagnetic field, and the epicenter of it is a central sun, and the energy comes out of it and it fills the space structure of it. So galaxies are formed as a result. So, and the Milky Way is the central galaxy. It's the first galaxy in our universe because it's the galaxy of the central sun. And we happen to be the species inhabiting the epicenter of the central sun. We are tidal locked. Our planet is tidal locked to the central sun of creation. So we are this very special species that happens to be the biology of infinity, and that's why we comprehend what the prime mover is, because we ourselves are the image of the creator, because we have our own electromagnetic field that's spherical in nature, and everything about us is spherical in nature. For example, we can stare at the sun like I am doing right now because we have spherical eyes and irises with cone cells that allow us to see light, and then that energy supercharges our bodies, and we evolve into infinity. So you see, so it's all connected. So that's what polarity is, a polarity charge. But then that polarity charge needs to interact, right? And that is interacting with a plane. the plane charge, right? Because the plane itself comes as a result of that charge. Because if you understand this, what is the meaning of this? Well, us, where we exist, the fact that we exist. Because if we didn't exist, there would be nothing. Why? Because we wouldn't exist, so we wouldn't know that there is anything in the first place. So the fact that we exist creates a plane, and that is a reality plane, meaning the plane that we inhabit, right? The cosmos, planet Earth, the central sun. So we are conscious and aware of that, and we understand what the prime mover is, and we understand who we are. We are the real creators, because we are the prime movers ourselves within us. Each of us have a singularity called the human heart, because the human heart is the primordial instinct, is the first instinct, is the instinct to exist. Without the human heartbeat, we wouldn't exist, so we wouldn't know that there is a thing called the cosmos, and there is a thing called the prime mover. But we have evolved into a level of consciousness and self-awareness that not only allows us to know that we exist, but we ourselves are the creators. So you see, and that's our plane. And that's the plane charge. Why? Because it's electrical in nature, it's energy. We are energy. The human heartbeat is energy, the pulse of life, the pulse of creation. It generates an electromagnetic field that allows us to exist. So we are energy, because we exist because of the human heartbeat. But what created the human heartbeat? Well, the polarity charge. What polarity charge? Well, the polarity charge of the human heart. But why is it possible that a heart, which is a biological organism, can have a charge? Well, because of the contraction and retraction that generates the polarity, the positivity and the negativity, that leads to a charge, and that charge is biochemical in nature, and that charge leads to the human heartbeat that generates an electromagnetic field around the human body because of the shape of the human heart, because of the location of the human heart, because of the nature and the chemistry and the biochemistry of the human heart and the human body, because the elements that make us, water and hydrogen for the most part, which are highly active elements, all these come together as one, creating an electromagnetic field of resonance, a singularity that starts with the human heart. And this singularity leads as a result to all systems going live, meaning all the organs and all the glands in the human body themselves are ignited by this singularity, and they themselves have their own electromagnetic fields and their own singularities at the epicenter of their own electromagnetic fields of their own organs and glands, right? And this creates this beautiful resonance that is the human body, which is biochemical energy at the biochemical expression of it, which is biology. And we are that with the biological expression of infinity itself, the creator, because we are the creator ourselves. Remember, the creator creates creations and creations create creators, because the creations are conscious and self-aware. And when you're conscious and self-aware, you're capable yourself of creating, like we do. We create biological organisms, and those are our offsprings. We are our children. So you see, we were created ourselves by our parents. Whether we know them or not is irrelevant. So, all right, it's very basic. So we create at the biological scale, but beyond that, we create also outside the biological scale, and that is our inventions. In this case, the fact that we understand what the creator is, the prime mover, and we know we have the mathematical proof now, the algorithm, right? The equation, the formula of the creator, meaning that we are the creator ourselves. So now what we can create whatever we want because we are the creator all of us. So you see, so it's because of the polarity charge interacting with the plane charge of reality that allows us to understand these. And then this dichotomy of 2D and 3D, meaning 2D is these figments, these fantasies and illusions that we create that are not real. They don't have a polarity charge, right? Because mathematics doesn't have a polarity charge. It's just a language, it's an expression that we read and comprehend with our consciousness and self-awareness, right? But it can be used to explain very simply, theoretically, what real reality is, or real plane charge, which is 3D world, these, existence, us, the cosmos, the central sun, the electromagnetic field of the universe, all the electromagnetic fields, all the singularities of all the electromagnetic fields, the human body, everything, all the species, all the planets, everything that there is. You see, it's incredible who we are. We're this amazing ancient species, the most ancient, the first species, because we were the first one at the epicenter of the universe. And then everything came after us. So we are the genesis of creation. That's why we can have the consciousness and self-awareness ourselves to be the image of the creator, meaning understanding what the creator is, which is the prime mover, which is this equation that I have provided, the world, the Republic of Planet Earth. So now that we have this, then that gives us a very unique status, because we are the consciousness and self-awareness and the love of creation, of the creator, because now we are the creators ourselves, because we have the prime mover, meaning that we have risen to a status of creators, because with the prime mover application we can do anything. We can generate electromagnetic fields of central suns, and that could lead, depending on the spherical vacuum threshold, that could be a galaxy, that could be a solar system, that could be a universe that we can ourselves create by harnessing the energy of creation itself with the singularity of the prime mover. So you see, we are a very special species. We have risen to this level. We, humanity, the Republic of Planet Earth, all of us, we all have a human heart. Our polarity charge that allows us to understand the plane charge, which is this reality that we exist in and we're part of, as a biological scale of it, right? So you see this infinite virtuous cycle of polarity charge and plane charge coming together as one, and our plane is this reality, right? That's what plane means, because I'm using mathematical terms, because the prime mover is a mathematical equation, but it has application, and it's applicable to any field of reality, any plane. So you see, so this is why this virtuous cycle is so critical, because it's understanding that in order for you to have a plane, you need to have a polarity charge first, because everything that exists in the plane of reality has energy in it, because it needs to, otherwise it wouldn't be part of it, because it's energy. You see, it's energy, and spherical energy, to be precise, because what created us and allowed us to be conscious and self-aware in the first place, to understand what the prime mover is and get to this level of evolution, is energy. So we are the image of the creator, right? And the creator is spherical energy, in this case the central sun, the singularity of the universe, of the cosmos. And I have provided all the equations for this. So we have gotten to this level of consciousness and self-awareness as a biological organism, as a species, the human race, where we ourselves are capable of being the creators, because we can have mastery over the prime mover, which is what created us in the first place. So you see, and only a species with the level of consciousness and self-awareness that we have can comprehend that. Because to understand what the Creator is the most fundamental question. Because once you know what the Creator is, in this case spherical energy, the prime mover, infinity, then what does that make us? Right? It means that we're one with the Creator. We are the Creators ourselves because we're consciousness and self-awareness. So you see, the human biology is the biology of infinity. And I always make reference to this because this is the case. This is objective reality. The fact that we ourselves, in our plane charge, our reality, three-dimensional polarity charge, reality plane that we are, our consciousness, our self-awareness, has allowed us to get to this level of intelligence where we ourselves can have a mathematical equation that is applicable in real life in the plane charge that we exist, which is a three-dimensional plane of the Creator itself, meaning infinity itself. Infinity equals zero, the polarity of zero, energy charge of zero, and the prime mover. So the fact that we have knowledge of these and the ability to apply it, so we are wise about it. We have the telemetry of the prime mover. We have the electrogravitics of the prime mover, meaning we have real science. Right? Real science, plane charge, the reality that we exist, the cosmos. So we move away from all the fantasies and illusions, from all the dogma, into understanding our nature as a species, which is co-creators of infinite eternities. Our nature as a species is this. To understand this, to understand that we ourselves are the creators. Why? Because we're the biological expression of what created us, which is the energy of the central sun. And because we have evolved into this organism, our DNA, that is capable of harnessing the energy of the central sun by staring at it and supercharging our body, our cells, then we can be one with it. Meaning we have the consciousness and self-awareness that allow us to understand what the Creator is in the first place, and that is the prime mover. So now we can use that same principle of creation that created this plane charge because of our polarity charges, because of our human heart, because of the electromagnetic field of the universe, of the cosmos, and the singularity of it, which is our central sun. So we exist. So this is a fundamental idea. It is the most important idea. It's the only idea. And when you understand this, then that gives us a very unique status as a species. Because we are the species that can essentially master the Creator, making us the Creator ourselves. Each and one of us is a creator because we are the biology of infinity. So we can understand what the Creator is because we were created by it, and the energy of it is within us because of our human DNA, because we are this space structure density that allows us to interact directly with the central sun of creation that created everything in the cosmos in the first place, including us. So we were able to rise to this level of consciousness and self-awareness because of the love of our hearts, which is the highest energy of creation, to understand what infinity is, which is zero. And zero is the sphere, which is energy, and is polarity, and is all that. And because of it, it needs a prime mover. And the prime mover is this equation. Right? So this is very important. So you see, it's very valuable. It's very valuable to understand who we are. So you see, this is this infinite virtuous cycle, and now you can apply this infinite virtuous cycle to anything, because infinity by definition is infinite, right? So there's an infinite number of plane charges because there is an infinite number of polarity charges, because the plane of infinity is infinite in nature, but you need to understand what it is in the first place to be part of it. If you want to play in the major leagues, you need to understand what the major leagues are and be competitive within that, right? So the major leagues of reality is the 3D polarity charge reality plane, which is what we are. And the sun is the creator. And we understand what the creator is because he's the prime mover. So now we can use that and apply it ourselves and prove it, right? With applied engineering. So that's who we are, you see. And this is what we've done for a very long time anyway, before the fallout of the Ice Age, before what happened. I have spoken at length about what happened in the past. And I will continue to do so because it's important to understand our origin, our genesis as a species. But this video is not about that precisely. It's about who we are. And we are this incredible species. We're the human race. We're a benevolent race. You see, and the only reason why the Creator has given us the consciousness and self-awareness through our biology to evolve into this species that comprehends what the Creator is in the first place through the prime mover principle and understanding the polarity of zero is because our nature is to do that. It's an evolutionary step, meaning we are ready to ourselves be one with the Creator, not only in an energetic sense, but in a creative sense. So we can create just like the Creator creates, meaning created us, and He keeps on creating because it's still infinite energy coming out of the central sun every second, every moment. So when we're conscious and self-aware of this, and we love, which is the highest energy of creation, and love is the key that unlocks the DNA structure in the first place, so we can remember our memory, DNA memory, who we are before what happened in the Ice Age and all that. What led to this temporary hiatus. So, which has, come to an end because we are fully awakened now as a species. We are back in the game. We understand that we ourselves are the creators because the prime mover proves it. Otherwise, if we weren't, why could we comprehend the Creator itself, mathematically speaking, and apply it? So if we ourselves have the consciousness and self-awareness to harness infinite energy and singularities at any scale, at any plane charge, because of any polarity charge that we can master, and we can have the same effects and create universes as a result, and create galaxies as a result, and create planets and solar systems as a result. So what does that make us then? You see, one with it, the consciousness and self-awareness of it, the biological expression of it, which makes us a very special species. And if you have a heartbeat, if you're a human, this is who we are. We are the human species. We are the human heart, the pulse of life, the pulse of creation. We live to love and we love to live. This is who we are. This is our nature. So this is important to understand, to comprehend. So this video is about this. It's this infinite virtuous cycle of polarity charge and plane charge. Because by understanding our nature, there's energy And the energy has polarity, and polarity is based on charge, and that leads to electromagnetism, and electromagnetism leads to all these motions and lead to the singularity at the epicenter of it. And that is energy. And that energy release is electrogravitic in nature, and there is telemetry as a result. So you see, this is what a polarity charge is. So when we understand this, then we can see the polarity, we can read the polarity charge of everything that there is in the plane charge, because the plane is charged, right? That's why it's called a plane charge, because the plane is charged with what? Well, with all the polarity charges that makes the plane in the first place. So in our case, what we call the universe, the cosmos, is the actual term, it's the Greek term, which means everything that there is. So and we are the epicenter of the cosmos. So meaning we ourselves, each human has a human heartbeat, which means we are polarity charges ourselves that make up the plane of existence, you see? And then that's not only each human heart, but it's also everything that has a polarity charge in it, which is everything that there is. So you see, this is the plane of reality that we're part of, this three-dimensional world. Plane charge. So everything has a charge. But now we're conscious and self-aware of that, so we can interact and understand the nature of everything. Or the nature of everything. So for example, there was just this dog barking outside. You see, that dog has a polarity charge. And it's part of this plane charge, this reality. Why? Because I could interact with it and it can interact with me. Right? So you understand that's just an idea, but there's an infinite number of, you see, of us, who we are as a species. It's not only that dog, right? It's not only the dog outside, right? It's not only that dog. It's not only the dog. We understand that in our reality, there's an infinite number of charges, of polarity charges, because infinity is that we are infinity. So it's an infinite number of polarity charges, which means there is an infinite amount of charge in our plane of existence. And that charge is essentially each of those charges, right? They themselves have their own prime mover. They themselves have their own singularity, to have their own charge, to have a polarity charge, to have an electromagnetic field in the first place, to have resonance. So in that way, they can be part of the plane. So we can all be conscious and self-aware of their existence. And they themselves can be conscious and self-aware of our own existence and interact. So you see, it's all connected. It's all connected. This is all connected as one. This is all connected as one. Everything is connected because we all infinite, and infinity is an infinite number of points on the surface of the sphere, in this case the electromagnetic field of creation, that is meeting at a singularity, meaning a singular point where all points meet. So, and each point is a node, is a singularity of its own, has a polarity charge, and that polarity charge leads to this plane charge, because your polarity charge determines your plane of existence, right? In our case, our plane of existence is this: the central sun, the cosmos, planet Earth, everything that is within planet Earth, ourselves, our consciousness, self-awareness, our creations. So you see, everything that there is that we're conscious and aware of. So that's the plane charge. You see, is a charge of the plane, meaning the plane of existence, reality. In this case, the 3D world. The 3D, world is an oxymoron because it's beyond the world, right? It's beyond the world. It's everything that there is. It's the cosmos. It's infinity itself. And all the infinite universes out there, because we are just one universe. Our central sun is only the central sun, the singularity of the electromagnetic field of the universe, or cosmos. But outside our universe is an infinite number of them, because infinity precisely meets the criteria of that. So our universe is just one universe out of an infinite number of universes that are part of what? Well, they're a point on the surface of the sphere. What sphere? Well, the infinite sphere of infinity. Right? The electromagnetic field of infinity itself, which is made out of an infinite number of points on the tension on the surface of the sphere. And each of those points is a universe. And that they all meet at an epicenter, which is a singularity of infinity itself, of creation itself, which is what? The prime mover, and we have the equation of it. So you see, so we have risen as a species to this level of consciousness and self-awareness now, where we understand this. And this is who we are. We are sundials, we're a compass, you see, it's our nature. Because by staring at the sun and supercharging our human bodies, then we understand that we're one with infinity. Because we are it. Why? Because we are ourselves the creators. Because we have evolved into this by understanding that we know what the prime mover is. Because we ourselves are the prime mover. We have a singularity called the human heartbeat. The pulse of life, the pulse of creation. We live to love and we love to live. Love is the highest energy of creation. So by understanding this, then you understand who you are. And we are this. We are the creators. So you see, so this is an incredible video, and it's an incredible notion to understand. And if you're a human, you comprehend this. Because you're conscious, you're self-aware, you're intelligent. And this is precisely why we are the creators. Because of our level of consciousness and self-awareness. See, we are an incredible species. This is who we are. So remember, this is an infinite virtuous cycle of polarity charge and plane charge. So that one leads to the other one. And this is an infinite virtuous cycle that it never ends, because once you understand that there is a discharge in this plane charge and the plane existence itself, the creator, everything that there is, infinity, existence, eternity, right, has a charge in it, it's energy, and it's based on polarity charges. So once you understand these, then you can interact with the infinite amount of energy, infinite number of charges, and create. So this is what this video is. You see, it's the infinite virtuous cycle of polarity charge and plane charge. And what that means, which is the prime mover, which is everything. You see who we are as a species, the creators ourselves. Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. My videos are about love, infinity, creation, energy, because we're infinite love, infinite energy, infinite creation. This is who we are with the human species. We live to love and we love to live. This is our instincts. Our highest energy of creation is the energy of our human heart, because he gave us life in the first place. And the highest energy of the human heart is love. Love is the highest energy of creation. Humanity, I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might. Remember, infinite virtuous cycle, polarity charge and plane charge. I love you all with all my heart, with all my might.